All right, for this next segment, we have a really exciting topic, something that we all need to be thinking about and probably aren't thinking about right now. John Gallucci, who is the president and CEO of JAG-One Physical Therapy here in New Jersey, gave a really impactful talk on the concept of recent NCAA rule changes and what we need to be thinking about as athletic trainers, not only at the collegiate level, but also at the secondary school level. So John, thank you so much for taking some time to recap your talk from ATSNJ. It was a great topic. Right from the start, can you kind of clarify to us, what is NIL? What do we need to know about that?
So the easiest way to define it is the NCAA is letting athletes use their name, their image, and likeliness to generate capital for themselves in various marketing opportunities, let it be through social media, branding, wearing gear, endorsements, any opportunity of marketing and branding that an athlete could put their name, their image, or their likeliness attached to it. It gives the opportunity for the athlete to generate capital for themselves. This has opened up a tremendous amount of market space in the agent world, where now high school and college athletes are being recruited by agents to try to generate capital, not only for the athlete, but for the agents and the agencies.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things you discussed in terms of complicating factors for this is that it's not just a national regulation, which I guess there's trying to be some bills for that, but you said there's school-specific policies and there's state-specific guidelines. So what do we need to know about that? How do we navigate that?
So that's a great question, Ryan. So ultimately, I want to make sure everybody knows the NCAA is a governing board of collegiate athletics. It is not a federal committee or a federal commission that makes laws. They have their own policies and procedures in the NCAA guidelines for Division 1, 2, and 3 sports. So they have made a rule or changed a rule that lets athletes generate capital off of their name, their image, and their likeliness. The federal government at this time has not made any laws that have come out to support or unsupport this rule change, but individual states have moved forward. Right now, there's about 28 states that have moved forward with different rules and regulations on high school and college athletes working within the NIL space. So that's interesting. And then many schools in those states have come up with their own policies and procedures on what they would allow or not allow. So here in the state of New Jersey, as I said, the state has decided that there's certain things that athletes can and cannot do. One of the biggest things the NJSAA has done is put out several topics or brands that they don't want athletes endorsing. And of course, it goes anything from the adult business to tobacco to any type of anything alcohol, lottery, gambling, all the so-called bad things that we'd want our children to stay away from. So ultimately, it's been very eager and progressive of the state of New Jersey to catch on to the NCAA's policies and procedures, and now the NJSAA has moved forward with their own policy as well.
And when it comes to athletic trainers, there's definitely an impact. You made the mention, no one was thinking about the sports medicine professional when this was all coming down, and specifically agents, HIPPA and FERPA, and the potential for lawsuits. Can you speak to those three things for athletic trainers, what we need really to be thinking about?
Well, as healthcare professionals, we know we already carry a malpractice and limited liability insurance for something that may go wrong, and it may not be a practice, but as we know, we live in a very litigious society, and sometimes people feel that they don't get the quality care, or they don't get the care that is expected, or maybe there's a diagnosis that a physician made, or somebody, a treatment plan that was presented. So we as healthcare professionals each and every day face those obstacles that happen, especially in the club, high school, and collegiate levels, where every mom and dad thinks that their son and daughter are going to make $1 gazillion a year at the professional level. But when we look at the analytics and statistics, we know that less than 1% of college athletes make it. So that percentage even decreases dramatically when we look at the high school athletes making it to the pro level and making it to the dollars. What this has now done is it's making high school and college athletes generate capital from their sport that they participate and their success in the sport that they participate. So ultimately now there is a dollar amount tagged to a revenue line that an individual can make. So if for some reason that they are treated and feel that they were treated in a way that was not opportunistic for them to get back on the field, the ice, the court, the track, ultimately agents are very litigious and would look to strategize to go after money's lost. And the easiest way to define it is just look at our workman's comp world today in professional sports. A soccer player or a hockey player could be signed to a $3 million a year deal for 3 years. We attribute that to $9 million plus endorsements. So let's say $12 million of income. If that athlete is hurt in the first year and cannot come back and participate, ultimately in most leagues, your contract would be null and voided. Well, the workman's comp world protects them, and then there's litigation to try to extrapolate as much as that $12 million that the athlete is losing. So ultimately now, if you take a high school or collegiate athlete that may be making $500,000 a year in the next 3 years from sophomore to senior year of high school, and then has the opportunity to make money in college, it's that same math of loss if the athlete can't return, participate, can't succeed, can't get into the Division I program that's going to open up the aspect of getting into professional sports. So we as sports medicine professionals, it's kind of changed a little bit about the way we're thinking. Everybody now has to think as we think in the professional level. You have to think that there's always a dollar surrounding the athlete. And although there was always a litigious component, the dollars are definitely changing on the litigious component based on the income that's being made. That's one thing that we as sports medicine professionals have to be concerned about. The second thing that we have to be concerned about is right now at the high school level, you're dealing with the athlete, the parent, or guardian. Now, all of a sudden, the parent or guardian are going to sign a release form to an agent. The agent is going to have consultants throughout the country that they deal with in sports medicine. I'm one of those consultants. I deal with about 35 athletes, 35 agents across the country that use me for rehabilitation as second opinion and progression and thoughts, and also examination and review of athletes before signing. So ultimately, you're in a situation that now you can be at Red Bank Catholic or Chatham High School or Madison High School and get a phone call from an agent that has a full release of the athlete's parents or guardian to start talking about and discussing the athlete's injury. So a lot of schools are trying to change that. Of course, we all have to make sure documentation is had. We all have to make sure we're following HIPPA and FERPA regulations and the laws that are guiding us in the schools and guiding us in healthcare. And it's very, very important that you cross the T's and dot the I's. So our jobs just got a little bit more difficult, and our jobs just became a little bit more visible. Now, we as athletic trainers love the fact that we're more visible because we've been trying to get visibility for years as healthcare professions. But now with that visibility, we have to take everything that comes with it. And I think we have to make sure, especially in the academic institutions, we're teaching about what does it mean to be a certified athletic trainer, licensed in a state, dealing with athletes of every age and level.
That is a great final point, that education is crucial moving forward. And thank you again for bringing this topic to light, because we need to dive into this further as a profession. And hopefully this gets that conversation started for a lot of athletic trainers, not only in here in New Jersey, but around the country. So John, thank you so much for your time. Great overview of your presentation. And thank you for being an advocate for our profession as always.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right. You too, John.